Yeah, I expected it to go up, but not by this level.
Yeah.
You know, there's still a lot of talk now, property prices are going to crash. I just can't see it, especially in this country. There may be certain areas where it does, but there's a housing shortage.
Absolutely.
Like, all the properties that I've had have rented out before we've even advertised.
Yeah.
Like, people are asking me, people are paying over the odds for them because they just can't get them.
So, Simon, property investor, how many properties do you own now?
So we've currently got four
properties.
and another one going through soon, hopefully.
Nice. And some of these as well are quite impressive properties. You know, you've got like your HMO, you've got your chapel on the beach, which is really exciting. So why don't you just, what I really want to get from this is how you manage to buy your properties, how you find them, how you structure them, tax implications. I know you've got HMOs, struggled to get a mortgage. For HMO to begin with. So why don't you talk about your first deal back in 2016? What was your very first property that you bought and what was it that made you buy that one?
Yeah, so the first property I bought back in 2016 was a derelict 3-bed semi-detached house. At the time, a few years before, I'd been made redundant from work, so I had some cash, you know, and I wanted to invest it. At the time, there was myself and my father. He came in 50-50 with me. We bought the property, and at that time, I had no real property knowledge or understand of different strategies. So we thought the best thing to do was to buy a house, fix the house and sell it for a profit.
Yeah. Traditional homes under the hammer type. Exactly.
Yeah. So it went really well. A lot of the work we've done ourselves, both in full-time work again by that point. It took us just over a year. Purchased the property for 250. We made 70 grand on it, which was really good.
Yeah, really good. And that was back in 2016.
In 2016,
At that point, is that the point when you realised there is good money in this? This is what I want to start doing professionally. Yeah,
definitely. You know, I've always been interested in property, but it's understanding the different strategies behind that. Now, it's really interesting because 2016 we purchased the house, done the house up, and obviously sold it for a good profit. I didn't touch property again until 2020. I actually went back to university and done a degree in business on the weekends.
Wow, interesting. Why did you choose to do that?
Well, it's really interesting. So I've been working in engineering and I wanted to almost diversify. I think I've always been interested in business as well. And I think the business was something that sort of helped me with my career, but also gave me a platform into property to understand the business side of it. You know, how to set up a company, how to do the accounts, strategy, accounting, planning, project management. It sort of covered it all, which was really helpful.
How much did your degree cost you then to get your business degree?
Well, it was actually sponsored by the company.
Oh, okay.
So for me, I paid in time.
Yes.
Which was the weekends. So yeah, I saw a few videos of yourself online. Know a few academy members that have gone through the training as well.
Yeah.
They were real inspiration. Like some of the projects they've done are massive.
Who did you see on the academy? What was it?
My good friends Darren and Ella from Delaware Estates.
Yeah.
So I used to go to school with Darren.
They've been on Winners on a Wednesday.
They have, yeah. They have, yeah. And they've done some really good, really interesting projects.
And still are now. Very aggressive.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they were a real inspiration, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So you saw their Winners on a Wednesday interview and you knew them already?
I did, yeah.
And you were just like, man, this is awesome. Okay, so 2020, that was when we met. What changed then in terms of strategy and in terms of property knowledge and stuff? What sort of started happening?
Yeah, so it was really interesting. So I obviously couldn't attend any live events. You weren't doing them at the time.
Yeah.
So it was all online training. So I almost indulged myself in everything: HMO, serviced accommodation, rent to rent, deal sourcing, and come out of it a little bit confused. I was like, whoa, all these different things.
Right.
What do I do with it now? So I decided to go down the HMO option.
Yeah.
So I was looking in the area and a bit further afield for a HMO. Found a nice HMO, but unfortunately couldn't get a mortgage on it because I didn't have any landlord experience. Which was frustrating.
Because you'd sold that house, you hadn't ever rented it out.
I know, and looking back on that one in 2016, I wish I kept it and rented it out. You know, I could have refinanced it, pulled the money out. But there we go, we move on.
But could you not have just bought a slightly smaller HMO and rented it out room by room? Or was the one that you'd found, was it quite a...
Well, I wanted a big one. You know, I wanted a substantial one. And ideally, you know, if it's over 3 floors, you need your fire doors, you need your regulations.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I switched strategies. I went back to the BRR. found another 3-bed semi-detached house. It had actually been half finished, so there was actually a builder who owned it, and he was doing extensive renovation works on there. He was doing a loft conversion, moving some walls downstairs, and he'd obviously run out of cash, so I put a cheeky offer in, and the offer was accepted. Unfortunately, when it came to exchange, he pulled out. He'd obviously come into some cash and wanted to complete the project himself, so you know, that was a lesson for me.
Yeah.
I learned that you can't always win in property. Sometimes you have to lose.
Yeah, and also you can't be emotionally attached about a particular property, because that can happen. We say never be at ease until you got the keys. So you lost that one.
Yeah, we lost that one, yeah.
Yeah, and then what happened next?
So I started looking again, put some offers in on different properties. Wasn't really getting anywhere with them. You know, they weren't getting accepted. But I just kept going. In the end, I put an offer in on a 3-bed semi-detached house. It didn't need too much work. It was just, you know, it was very dated. It needed a fresh lick of paint, a lot of tidying up. And that one went through, which was really good. The purchase price on that one was $250, and that was 2 years ago. At the time, I didn't know about bridging finance or a lot of, you know, raising capital, angel investors. So I put a mortgage on it. Mortgaged the property, done the refurb on it, and the property is now worth 330.
Nice.
So it means when we can remortgage that one early next year, we can pull a big lump out of that. So you know, there's hardly any money left in the deal.
That's incredible. And I think with property as well, it's one of those things, isn't it, where even if you don't know everything there is to know about property. I know when you did some of the online courses in 2020, you said you almost felt like overwhelmed with, should I do this, oh my goodness. But you don't have to know everything about everything to make money in property, because even if you just buy a house and you don't know what you're doing, it probably will go up in value.
Exactly.
You know, but you did know what you're doing. You had some knowledge. You had the ability to take some action. You went through the rejections and the hardships. So you bought it for $250. It's now worth $330, and now you're refinancing it
2 years later.
Pulling out nearly all of your money.
Yep.
That's incredible. Talk to me about the chapel on the beach, because that one is, I know, very exciting.
So yeah, this is a property that we've had an offer accepted on. We're looking to push it through really, really quickly. So it's in a prime location. It's 3 meters to the beach. It's a converted chapel, 2-bed, 2-bed and a storeroom. Now the storeroom's also really interesting. For serviced accommodation, you know, you want something unique. So I think we could turn that into like a kid's cave, storage area for kite surfers. We'll do something creative with it. But yeah, it's right on the beach, right in a prime location. It's got all the period features, the glass windows, the beams. So yeah, it should be something.
How much are you paying for it?
So that's 237.
237. And what's the vision then? How are you going to rent it out? How are you going to make money?
So it's going to be done as a holiday let, which is really good.
You say 3 meters from the beach?
It is literally on the beach.
That's not even away from the beach. Like 3 meters is...
the beach is your garden.
Really? Wow, 237. That sounds quite cheap.
It is, yeah. So it is a leasehold, 999 years on the lease.
Yeah.
It's actually been fully refurbished, brand new kitchen, brand new bathroom, which for us is, you know, it's really good, because we've always bought one that needs loads and loads of work.
Yeah.
So now,
are you going to just rent this straight out as a holiday let then? Is that the plan?
So it'd be serviced accommodation, yeah, as a holiday let.
And how much do you think you'll make on it?
So to get the mortgage on it, I needed to get 2 independent companies to give me a low, medium and high valuation on there. So the high season, we're looking at £1,200 to £1,300 a week.
Wow.
The low season is around 650 to 750. So really good numbers.
So it'll be a good few thousand a month then.
Definitely.
All year through. And what will that do to your income? Because at the moment, how much are you making at the moment from your property income?
So our income at the minute is around $2,500 per month.
Yeah.
That's from the 3-bed that we've got, the HMO, and one of the flats that we're refurbishing.
Yeah. And the HMO, that's an interesting one. Talk to me about the HMO. Give me the figures and the story on that. So
the HMO is really interesting. It's fully compliant as a HMO. It's got all the fire doors, meets all the regulations. It's a 4-bed, 3-storey, with the potential to turn it into a 5-bed. It's not actually being rented as a HMO at the minute.
Tell me why.
So there was a lovely couple in the area, actually contacted my sister on social media. and their house had been struck by lightning, believe it or not. And they were looking for somewhere to rent short term, just for 12 months, so they could be close to the kids' school. And it was the perfect location for them. So we agreed they could have it for 12 months, and then the plan is when they move out at the end of this year.
And this property as well, you're kitting it all out, you've got fire doors.
So we hadn't furnished it, so we were just about to furnish it.
But you've got the fire doors and the license.
fire doors already in there, yeah.
So you've got it all ready for HMO, about ready to be furnished, and then you have this contact from this lady saying, my house has been struck by lightning. What was the reason for that? Was that like a commercial reason, or was that purely just because you wanted to help her out?
No, you know, it wasn't a commercial reason at all. We could definitely get more money for it as a HMO. But, you know, I think this business, it can't just be about money. It has to be about people as well. And for us in the local area, how do we give something back? So for me, yeah, I guess it was more of a decision based on the need of the people.
Yeah, that's great. And I know about 6 months ago you enrolled onto the full academy.
I did,
after
yes.
doing the online courses. What was the reason for that, and how's that been so far, and what's happened since?
Yeah, so it was really good. You know, my intentions were always to do the live events. I've done the online ones, but it's just not the same. You're just not in that. You know, I think the best way to describe it is the network and the energy. It's almost a family of property investors. And I think not only learning from you guys and the trainers and the mentors, but also from everybody else with all the different strategies. So for me, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, and I guess as well, if you put a little bit into yourself, then what you've got left can go much further in property, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, when you've got access to the best power team, mortgage brokers, and as you say, people network to do deals with.
Yeah.
So what's your biggest? You've learned as you've gone along to some extent. You've done some training. You're in lockdown. You know, you've been in the property business now for a few years. What lessons have been the biggest learning curves, would you say, over the years?
It's a really good question. I think, you know, to be successful in property, a lot of people see success, don't they? But they don't see all the hard work and the knockbacks and the failures and the graft that you put in to enable you to get there. Now, I guess for me, you know, I've got quite a supportive partner. Obviously, a supportive father. He's actually in business with me now, joint venture 50-50, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's all the graft that you put in, you know, doing a lot of the work yourself, even just the paperwork. We tend to be really hands-on. So all the refurbs, we just about do ourselves. You know, apart from the gas and the electrics. Yeah, so for me, just hard work pays off. It's the graft.
Yeah, so putting the work in, you think is really important. And I think you're right as well, because if you want to make a lot of money in property, you need to treat it like a business.
Exactly.
If you treat it like a side hustle, then you'll get side hustle results.
Yeah.
You know, you've certainly taken it on properly, treat it like a business. What's your favourite property then? What's been out of your little portfolio?
So I think my favourite one at the minute, discounting the chapel because it's not gone for it at the minute, is the freehold block of 2 masonettes we're currently doing.
And what's the purchase price on that?
So the purchase price was 300 on that one.
Yeah. You completed now?
It's completed. Yeah. The top one is refurbed and rented out as of this week. So
incredible.
So
and
really
what's the rent on that?
£1,000 per month.
And is that per unit?
Per unit,
so it's going to be £2,000 a month. You bought it for 300, and you've added, presumably you've added some value. What's the?
Yeah, so I think we'll end up spending just over 60 on it.
Yeah.
And the end value will be about 220 per unit.
Wow.
So 440 all in.
So what have you got there profit wise? You're talking sort of about 80 grand again.
Yeah, which is really good.
It's not bad to make 80 grand on one deal like that, and then on top of it have £2,000 a month rent coming in.
Exactly, and of course we've got the freehold as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to split the titles on that one. Russell's actually very kindly given me a solicitor who I was speaking to yesterday. You can do that, which is fantastic.
Good.
Again, part of being on the academy, part of having that power team.
So what would you say to somebody then that's wanting to get into property, that's maybe like yourself, you know, come from full-time work, working full-time, hasn't got loads of time, hasn't got loads of money, and wants to get into property? What would you say advice you would give to somebody wanting to start?
Just do it, get stuck in.
Yeah.
You know, if I can do it, anybody can do it. It's just time. It depends how much you want it, doesn't it?
Yeah, right.
You know, if you're dedicated, for me, it's a way of building, you know, long-term wealth. I think I'm quite lucky. I'm in a job you know, I really enjoy it. I don't want to leave that job.
Yeah, you're still in that job, right?
I am still in that job, yeah.
Even though you're making a full-time income from property, you know, you've stayed in your job. Is that just because you enjoy it?
I enjoy my job, yeah. I think I'm very fortunate to do that. But there was a point, you know, there was a point where I thought, how am I going to be able to still stay in work, but also scale the property business? And to do that, I was very fortunate that my dad decided to join the business with me. Yeah. So he is very much looking after all of the day-to-day business, all of the operations.
So you've got him as a bit of a rock.
Maintenance.
Yeah.
Which is really good, and that allows me to focus, you know, on not only my full-time job, but also on finding new deals, new opportunities.
What are you looking for next then? What's the plan this year?
So the plan this year is to get that chapel over the line. I want to get that up and running as soon as possible. Hopefully catch the last of the summer months. And then we've got a viewing on Saturday actually to potentially look at a land deal, which is currently one dwelling on a derelict building. And we think we can split it and build 2 separate units. Incredible. You know, really profitable as well. Done up value for each will be around 600. And the purchase price is 500 for the unit.
Very, very nice.
Which is good.
Yeah, very, very nice. So what's the reason then? What's your motivation? Because you're clearly a driven person. You know, you had your job and then you were doing university at the weekends to learn about business. You're now in business. You're a property entrepreneur and property investor. Also have a job, working long hours, making very good money. What's the strongest reason for doing this? Yeah,
I think for me, I'm the type of person that has to be busy. You ask my partner, I'm terrible when I'm bored. I just annoy everyone. I need to be doing something. But I think really it's, you know, to build that long-term wealth and stability for myself and my family.
Yeah. What do you prefer then? Do you prefer holiday let, serviced accommodation? HMO, what excites you more?
Serviced accommodation.
Why is that?
I just like the idea of it. You know, I think there's so much opportunity with it. HMO, you need really 4 beds. You could do it with a 3 if you want, but you're just renting a bedroom out. I think it gives you an opportunity to be quite unique and creative.
Yes.
You know, a chapel is something that will really sell.
Oh yeah, I'll be staying there 100%.
Yeah.
And if it's weather like it was today, I think you'll be getting very good money. What about, what do you prefer, buy, refurbish, refinance or buy to let?
Buy, refurbish, refinance all the way.
Why is that?
Because I can keep recycling the money. You know, you can put it in, you get the work done, you pull it out, and you know, you can almost end up with a top market, top valuation, because you've done all the work. You know, it's almost a brand new building at the end. Yeah. You know, you take the worst house and turn it into the best house on the street. Right. And that's very much what we've done with the masonettes. All right,
what about, what excites you more, cash flow or capital appreciation?
Capital appreciation.
Interesting. Go on, why is that?
Because at the minute I'm still in full-time work.
Yes.
You know, I'm an engineering manager. I don't earn bad money. So for me, it's that capital appreciation that turns into cash flow.
Yeah, right. And even lockdown, interesting actually, you'll probably remember this, because in around about this time 2 years ago, beginning of June, I think it was actually June the 8th, all the newspapers were saying the property market's going to crash, and I did a YouTube video and said, actually, I think it's going to go up, and it did.
That's right.
And everybody was, 2 years ago, everyone was doom and gloom, but the market has rocketed. Did you expect that to happen?
No, not in the way it has.
Even though I said it would?
Yeah, I expected it to go up, but not by this level.
Yeah.
You know, there's still a lot of talk now, property prices are going to crash. I just can't see it. You know, especially in this country. There may be certain areas where it does, but there's a housing shortage.
Absolutely.
Like, all the properties that I've had have rented out before we've even advertised.
Yeah.
Like, people are asking me, people are paying over the odds for them because they just can't get them. And if they do, they're usually subpar.
Yeah. Exciting, great. So what will be your final words of advice, words of wisdom for all the people listening in?
So I think words of wisdom, if you want to do property, do your research, make sure you've got the knowledge, get some training, and then take that leap forward. Get stuck in, choose your strategy, and really just go for it.
Yeah, love it. Well, thank you so much.
Lovely, thank you.
Appreciate you.